Quibbles, do you want ups? Okay. Quibble wants up. Quibbles! Okay. I know it's Quibble Bits. Hold on, your pillow's falling down. There we go. You okay? Are you helping? Yeah, okay. Quibble is helping. So, oh, and I can take a look at the file here. Let me just make sure settings is open. Yeah. So I can see some things like the comments are really hard to read. I want my comments readable. There's definitely a lot of things that need to be moved around still in this file. Can I help you with your foof? Gur wants back now that Quibble's here. Hi, Gur. I know. Okay. This is how we do this. I know. I know. This is why it's called Quibble, because you make those noises. Okay, Gur, make some decisions. Okay, you want to help sit? I know, I just got to sit back in my chair too. Okay. No, see, that doesn't help anybody. Lay down. Okay, good boy. Stack dogs. I have to stack the dogs here. Okay, are we all nice and stacked? What's going to happen is now Quibble's going to tuck himself behind me. Oh, no. Okay, no, this, if you two are going to do that, you can do that not in my lap. Okay. We're just going to try to work this way. It's a hazard of having these two. What is a syntax theme? A syntax theme is going to highlight, it does all the color coding in your code. And so that tends to be really handy. What you can see here, this is my first syntax theme for Atom that I made. Some of the languages, and we'll get into why the screenshots are not showing up here soon. But yeah, so this is Abaddon syntax. I also, which was based on the Anderson Dark syntax theme, which basically I chose to base it on that because it had extra items, which at the time I didn't know how else to get, specifically specific punctuation. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that here as well, because I use something called AMP script in my day-to-day. Not so much recently, but for a good long time. So I wanted something that was AMP script specific, as well as JavaScript, SQL, CSS, which we can go. Now let's go open up Abaddon syntax, and then you can see I use documents. This is Abaddon here. It's brown, low contrast, because low contrast works for my eyes. And then I decided, and the reason, so then back to why I wanted to create this tutorial was because I went to go create a new theme based off of my Abaddon theme, and I ran into some stumbling blocks, which I'm going to kind of hopefully go over here. And I didn't find any great ones for a while, like searching through a lot of old documentation, things that have tended to have been around for a while. People don't update very often. So I think it's important to do that when you run into stuff and you want to use it. So let's talk about what you're going to need in order to create. Obviously, you're going to need to have Atom installed. In order to cut down on some of the rambling in this video and to kind of get you everything you need, I'm going to list exactly what you need in order to create your own Atom syntax theme. You're going to need Atom. You're going to need GitHub and have a GitHub account where you can create a new repository. You're going to need Git installed on your computer. And I would suggest a GUI, and I use GitHub Desktop in this video. You're going to need your command line. Terminal if you're using a Mac. I use Git Bash in this tutorial. You're going to need a color picker. The Atom documentation is always helpful to have up. And you're going to need a code example. And I am using HTML Patterns for Emails, Cerberus by Ted Goes. If you don't have Atom installed, you're not going to be able to look at things. And then what will you do? I would suggest also that you make sure you know where Atom is saving things by default when you create things. If you head over to core, you'll see in, here we go, this is where I save stuff. You want to make sure you know where that project home is. It's generally going to be in the users folder on Windows, in their documents. It might have a GitHub folder, or not in their documents, but just in like a general GitHub folder, right under users. I don't like that. I like to keep things a little bit more organized so I can find them later. So I have changed that default. So I would suggest first thing, make sure you know where your project home is. So let's get started. Let's create a package. I find it handy to make sure that the project is open. That way all of your items can be in here and are easily accessible if we go. So to do that, just if you don't have your project tab open in Atom, just hover over your left-hand center side screen and this little arrow should pop up just like that, and you can open it up there. You're going to navigate to Packages, Package Generator, and Generate Atom Syntax Theme. I wish they had this for UI, and then maybe I'd make a UI one, but I don't really care. I usually just use one light or one dark, depending on what I'm doing. And right now, you're going to need to decide on a name, and this is going to be Cherry Abandon. I joked the other one that I should make a cherry one because I was using some pink stuff. So that's what we're going to do. Cherry Abandon syntax. Hit enter. And right away, it has opened a window with that new package. So the project is created. It's created a get. Everything that you need to create this package. Now we have our project created. We have our example file open. Next, I am going to go ahead and open dev mode. So, and I like to do this first, that way I have everything in non-dev mode too, but go to View, Developer, open in dev mode. And it's going to make me go to that project. My documents, GitHub. Here it is, the Cherry Abandon syntax. That open. How can I tell it's in dev mode? Hi, editing me again. How do you know that Atom is in developer mode? In the screenshot that I will put up here, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, there is a red box that is half red and half whatever your background color is. That's how you know it's in dev mode. And the other thing that I am going to do, just because I want to be able to reference a few things, is I'm going to open a new folder in my project. So that way it's just easy to get everything that I need from here. So you'll see that I have both folders open, and then I can reference things in here. Oh, great. File. So we're going to head over to File Settings and over to Themes. And here in Themes, if you open it up, because you're in demo, you're going to see your theme in there right away. And there it is, Cherry Abandon. Switched it over and the colors have changed. Why have the colors changed? Because this is literally the default theme right now. It doesn't have anything different than what you would get from the very default Atom if you didn't install any other themes or anything else. So here it is, the default theme. Yay. But what this means is you're going to be able to see your changes in real time, and that's actually really cool and lets you see a few different things. So there it is. So now we're going to be able to see our changes in real time as we work on it. So let's go ahead and open up those files. First thing I'm going to do is go to the styles folder here. And you'll notice that these end with less. The syntax theme uses less, which is basically a CSS cascading style sheet system. The word is escaping me. I will look up that word. I want to say not renderer. What is it when it's code? Compiler? Compiler. Less is a CSS compiler. Okay, I will look that up, I promise. And it allows you to do a bunch of things that CSS couldn't do until recently, including use variables. So, and it lets you break things out a little bit further into different files. But less is really easy, and you don't need to learn a lot to just start using it out of the box. If we open the colors.less, this is the first file we start with. This is where you define colors. Literally define your colors and what they have. I am going to open my colors file here, and I use a package called Pigments, which highlight colors for me. But this is my colors.less file for Abandoned Cream, and you can see I have all of these colors already defined. And you know what? This is what I'm kind of basing it off of, and I can certainly have forked my my own syntax theme and just gone from there, but because I'm creating a tutorial from scratch. So this is where you're going to want to go. Where's this one? Are you not going to let me have two open at once anymore? Oh, we're going to bounce back and forth. Okay, so literally the last version, I opened one and I would have two tabs. So I am going to see. There we go. We're just going to split it right out of the get-go. It's fine. So new functionality as we're filming. That's great. Okay. That's actually not a bad thing. Honestly, that's a lot faster to switch back and forth, and that's pretty fast for Atom, so that's actually kind of a cool thing. So as you can see, there's some things I kept kind of the same, like the grays defined, but then I added quite a few things here, but these are all the colors. And you can name these whatever you want. So these are the color variables. You can name these whatever you want. You can see I still have their base colors here. You can even take all of these out and change them. It's really up to you. What I'm going to do, because I know that this is the color base that I want to start with, I'm going to go ahead and just do this. And all you do is using your color picker, say we want a good dark green, which I don't have in here. I have some off greens, but no dark green. Let's get a dark green. I come here to my color picker, and let's get a nice dark, make it a little bit more blue. There we go, and I'm going to copy the hex code. And we'll just create a new dark forest. I'm not being very consistent here. Let's go ahead and hit save. Which is that, notice how they're using dashes in their two words. I probably should do that too. So we're going to hit a dash. There we go. But that's it. I've defined a color. And I should probably leave these all lowercase so that they're consistent. I like camel case. I know. I'm weird. But here we go. Habit. You can see the little blue dot up there. It says it's not saved. So make sure I'm hitting save. I am using a keyboard. I know I said I wasn't going to. Control S. Everybody should know how to use Control S. Sorry. I'm hitting Control S to save in case you needed that. So yeah, so there we go. I have created that. Now, let's see. Taking a look here. Next, we need to look at our syntax variables. So let me go ahead and open that. Here's the syntax variable. So here are some base variables. This tells you what you're using this color for. And this lets you just assign your variables here. And there's a couple of different ways they did it. So here, you could actually add more hex codes and just do that. You can add as many, you can add new syntax variables. This uses kind of the BEM standard for naming, so it tells you what the project is, where it's located, what specifically it does, and what it is. In this case, it's a color, or it's color selected. So you can very easily tell what this is for. This makes it very readable for anybody else who needs to backtrack and figure everything out. Up here, you can see they're importing the colors.less file. And there's comments in here. Sometimes they just use the color name. They also use this lighten. So right here, by doing this, they're taking color. Instead of defining that specific hex code or color, they're using CSS to make it more transparent or lighten the color. Sorry, not necessarily transparent, but lighten the color down to 10% of its value. Because I'm using that pigments and because these files are connected with the import, I can already see right here that or pigments is already picking up right away what these colors should be. So here's the syntax variables for abandoned cream. And you can see I've replaced using the grays. I still use some of them, but with other colors. So that's what I'm going to do first, is define what I want here. So I am going to split this right, just so I can have it here. And we're going to decide what I want. I know what I did for this. And like I said, this is going to be a cherry kind of syntax. So we're going to start with my moss rows. And we want the syntax background color. Hit save. I told you that they would happen in real time, right? So I've gone ahead and changed these, and I can see right away if I want to use this background color, there's lots of things I need to change. I can't see the punctuation because it's in a light gray. And that's not really going to work. All right, so maybe I want something more contrasting for that. So let's go ahead and try my deep forest. I'm just going to select it now. So pink and green on the color wheel are in opposite. They oppose each other, making them complementary colors. The color theory there for you. Now, why isn't this changing everything? No, because this is just the text color. This is just, hi, I like you. I am just hitting my keyboard at random. Oops. I thought I was doing something else. So that's what the text color is going to be. And you know what? I kind of like that. I'm going to leave it. Well, let's try my really dark green, my dark forest here. Oh, hi. Trying to guess what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, that's pretty readable for me. Not so great for the highlighting, but that's okay. That means we need a lighter highlighter, which is the base less. And the base less is actually defining the color. So this is basically the CSS file, and I'm going to highlight it so you can actually see it. Where here is everywhere you actually define each of the elements. Now, I am going to make things a little bit easier on myself because this is already harder to read because I'm in the middle of this. And I know that I want to base it off Abandoned Cream, and I'm going to open up my base. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Base. Check here. And base. There we go. Here is the base list for Abandoned Cream, and I'm actually going to copy this and paste it right in here. And we'll hit save. And now you can see suddenly it's way easier to read because we've already picked items. And if we come here and take a look at the file, everything is way easier to read because this is what I'm basing it off of. This is already a light, where the one in the package, and the one in the default package is a dark theme. So that's why everything got really hard to read. But here is the light theme that I want to base it off of, so I have everything here. But this will make it easier to read too. So if we come back here to our base file, you can see better every single thing, just like CSS classes. The variables are used in here. Other places, you can see all the different colors that I've chosen. And you basically come in here and just change the colors of each thing. Which is great. Now, say there's something that you want to change the color of and you're not finding it in here. It should be fairly easy. Syntax quote, syntax list, syntax changed. All of these, hi. Okay. Did I have a smell? I showered today, I promise. He's like, that's the problem. Anyway. But you can see, I mean, you can just use CSS here as you will, and most of these are color, but you'll see underlined a few places in order to make things look a certain way. And it's literally just color, background color, all very, very simple. But let's say, okay, so I'm going to inspect this background color here because I don't like what is happening here. A moment to show up, and I can see here it's the syntax support, syntax property name, syntax CSS. It says background color. So syntax support, syntax type, syntax property name. So we're gonna come in here. Syntax property name. Now I could just type it in here to redefine it again. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to throw it here in the find. And I can see that's set to hot chocolate. And that's not really working out for me. I want a brighter color. I'm going to change it to this rose madder. And we'll go ahead and hit save. And now we can see now color shows up in a different color, which I like better. And you just kind of do that. Anything, when you're going, you can do that in your code as well. Say we want to change these brackets here. We go ahead and inspect element. We see that they're under we have syntax curly, syntax bracket. So I want them to be, right now, the syntax, the curly bracket is under, looks kind of the same as the HTML brackets. So we're gonna grab, I'm gonna grab both these and back here to our base, throw it in find. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be, and I don't want syntax. You can do end and start differently. Syntax end, syntax start. Nope, it's not finding that. How about curly? Nope, not bracket. Yeah, so it's just picking up the main color. So, and I would suggest anything you add, you want to put at the end, where I've added am script variables and things of that nature. So we're gonna change that, and let me actually make sure I'm grabbing the whole thing because I want both, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in here. Make sure you, but just like in a browser, you can syntax curly, comma. You can just inspect anything to see what the selectors are. Color, and I think I want them to be very different. So I'm gonna make them the sapphire. Go. Save. And now you can see they're a sapphire color rather than the dark color that the bracket is. So that lets you you can really come in here and choose different things and make them as much as the same or different as you want to. You don't have to define everything. If you want, remove all of them and slowly define things one at a time, changing just the things you want from the default. Now we'll open up, I'm going to open up this README over here. And over here, I'm going to open up this README. Here we go. Like, you can see if you left their theme the same, then I'm going to grab this and put in a description here on Atom syntax theme based on abandoned cream syntax theme. And let me make sure I have the right repository. It's just going to be Markdown. I'm going to open the package JSON file. So, editing me here again on another editing day. So I need to start writing scripts, I think. Anyway, while we're here, we're just going to interject with the package JSON file. So you need to edit this to make sure your name is correct in there, your description, and add any keywords that you would like for people to find your theme with. That's all you need to do here. Everything else will be updated automatically once you publish the file. So I've got everything filled out. You can get as detailed as you want. If we take a look at, I think here we go here. So screenshots. Now, for whatever reason, screenshots are broken right now in the Atom theme. So if you put in Markdown or HTML image, nothing will happen. They just won't show up. So I'm going to leave them out for now. What I've done in my other themes is actually just list what all the screenshots are in and then tell them to go view it on GitHub. Close that, and I need to create a repository. So I am going to do that here in the GitHub tools. So I'm going to go ahead and get a new repository started. And it is Cherry Abandoned Syntax. And we're going to change the path here. So, and we want to git ignore. I'm going to initialize with the README because it already has one. License is MIT. Create repository. Okay, so this is something important right now. I have this set so that my main branch is called master. And this is important because if you do not set it up with master as your main branch, you will not be able to publish it to APM, and it just won't work. It's just going to error out. So you need to make sure that when it says your current branch, that's master. You can do that in the options in the tool or in Git itself, master. I'm not going to go into how to do that on the command line. You'll need to look it up, or I'll make another video if you want to do that. But I just leave master as default. But if this says main up here, if you have main in your repository, if this says main, when you try to publish this to APM so that you get this nice fancy page and so that other people can find your theme, you will not be able to find it. I will say, before I go further and initialize this, these Git steps are not needed if you just plan to use this on your local machine and you don't care. If anybody else sees it, you can always just do it in DevTools and or move the files into your themes folder for use on your local machine. But we're assuming that you want to publish it. So if you don't, you can skip all this and just edit to your heart's content. But here we go. Initial commit. Initial commit. You have this as local. It is not published to GitHub. Okay, so there's no local changes. We're fine. Let's go ahead and get this published. It says master. Publish repository. I want to call it To Apm. It doesn't need to be private. Syntax. And we'll hit publish. And now it will upload everything to GitHub. And I'll just hit fetch again. But now if we come to the repositories, we'll check out my repositories here. I have a new one published right here. You can see here's my README file and all of my files. Yay! So now I need to publish this, or now I need to publish this so other people can find it in the themes and actually download it if they go to. We need to publish to APM so that you can see your very nice theme here. And you can see that I've published it once, but I'm going to go through the same steps again. So we'll actually see this number creep up. But I wanted to make sure that you can see it correctly. So first we're going to take a look at the Atom flight manual in the publishing page. So we have done all of these things. We have a package JSON file. It has a name, description, repository fields are filled in. It has a value of 000. Now, right now it's 1, but that's okay because we published it once. We're going to do it again just to show you the steps so you can clearly see them. It has a README file. Your repository URL is in the package JSON. And your package is in a Git repository that's been published to GitHub. So those are the requirements which we have met. So it's actually pretty easy. You just go to the path of your package and you do APM publish and then version type. So major is, of course, uploads the first, or updates the first number. Minor updates the second decimal, and patch updates the third decimal. So we're going to do a minor one this time. Well, we'll do actually just another major so you can see it, because you're going to want to choose which one you do based on how you want to increment. Because I'm just showing you here, I'm going to go ahead and use major. So here's my git bash. First I need to go to the directory. So we're going to change directory and make that, let's see if I remember where I'm going. Oh, I don't remember. So we'll just open it up here. Okay. So for me, it is CD. I can never remember which one it is since I'm now on Windows 11, and that becomes kind of a problem. Drive, document, GitHub. I believe that's correct. Yes. And then if I do dir, I'll see there are my two syntax themes. And we're going to go into the cherry dash abandon syntax folder. All right, and we can see here that this is definitely a repository. It has the word master right here next to it to show you it's in a branch, and that's the branch's name. And we'll just simply type APM publish major. It's updated to 2.0 and it's done. When you do an initial commit, you're going to get a giant rainbow message, which I'm going to screenshot right up here. So that's done. You have this shiny page here, and I'm going to refresh it just so that you can see. We already had 37 people download this. That's pretty impressive. But you can see each of the items here. You can go to the repo and see everything as well. And best of all, you can see it in Atom. So let me go ahead and get that open here. I thought I had it open, but I have it open on my other screen. So if we go ahead and head over to File, Settings, Preferences if you're on a Mac, and Themes, you can see I already have it selected here, and I have it installed right here. But you can actually head over to Install, Cherry, Catberry. I don't know what Catberry is. Oh, make sure that you have themes checked over here. And we see there's my theme right here. And yeah, I've already had people download it. That's kind of cool. Not that many, that's basically what I have. But yeah, there it is. And then you just install it from there, and then you can have it in your normal package. So I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully it wasn't too rambly, or I know it was very jump cutty, and I really need to work on that, but I really wanted to get this out here, not just for myself, but for everyone else who runs into the same sandbox I do. If you'd like any more videos on this or common problems that you may run into, just let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed.